it really blew me away, like the sheer volume of these things, and then you got like this. There's a lot of Catholic sites that will put their saints up, but I mean A to Z, right? This is just A, right? A to
Yes.
C to D to E.
And this is just the Catholic ones. There's a whole volumes of tons of others, right?
Yeah. So, and like some of these are post release. And that's another thing. It seems like during the transition, there was still people that were able to do miracles, but it didn't take long after the Protestant Reformation for people to completely forget. And the thing is, we like most people that have like truthers understand that words matter, thoughts matter, like all of these vibration, the frequencies, all these different things, intentions, they influence the spiritual realm around us. So when you convince the church that these miracles are not possible, right, that supernatural, and while simultaneously they're convincing the people that are not in the church that supernatural doesn't exist at all,
Yeah.
right? So the consciousness of the church forgets about the power that we have access to, right? Because if we believe that the New Jerusalem and Christ and the saints are somehow connected to this realm that we're living in, well connected to heaven, that means the ether connects us directly to them, right? That's why I'm so confident in my prayers now. I always knew there was something supernatural going on where, if like somebody I would just pop into my heart and then I would pray for them or I'd talk to them and then I'd find out there was a reason for that, right? Because we can send prayers on the ether. I don't know exactly how it works, but the supernatural realm somehow travels and interacts on that etheric supernatural realm, the spirit and stuff. So you convince the church that doesn't exist, miracles don't exist, your faith by default loses its power, right? Because
Yep.
we have not, because we ask not, and we receive not, because what? We believe not.
Yep.
So you convince the church these things aren't possible, they're all lies. That's what the church is. And look at us now. We've consented century after century to evil systems, right? We put our vote for the lesser of two evils, right? Instead
Yep.
of like understand, we don't believe anymore. And
Yeah, man. It's hitting me like a ton of bricks what you've been trying to say over the last week. It's just like, so you had one universal church during the millennial reign because Jesus and the resurrected saints were ruling and reigning with Christ. And then Satan's loosed, he inverts it, calls it Catholic, okay, and makes them evil, the bad guys, makes the Protestants the good guys by destroying the evil bad guys, which were all these hagiographies. It was the Protestants that destroyed these.
yep.
It's
And
And the
yeah.
Catholics and the Catholics also destroyed some, right? And they picked and choose what was going to benefit them, and they tried to use those to try to benefit them, give them power, wealth, money, right? So on both sides, right? The enemy, that's what I'm saying, that there's no heroes within the church in the short season. There's no church, denomination, creed, whatever, that has any ground to have pride in their position, their finite understanding.
That's
It's
right.
humility, right?
That's right.
They're
don't
not real
know.
Catholic. The people in the Catholic Church now, I mean, like the the Vatican, the Pope, those aren't real. They're not Catholics at all, right? They're
Yeah, it's become
Luciferians.
well, you can say the same thing about the how many ever, because you say 40,000, but when I did my research, it seems like we're going to hit 50,000 denominations by like the end of 2026, which is crazy. That means 50,000 groups of believers have so much pride in their finite understanding that they are willing to separate themselves and create an entire new denomination based on their pride and their finite understanding. I
But
mean,
let me
that's deception.
let
right
me just
there.
get this straight. Before Satan was released, the Catholic Church, you're saying they were real Christians. They were, right? They weren't always the bad guys. They were
right.
really, so
It's inverted.
it's inverted. It's like they're playing 5D chess.
Yeah.
Like Grady was
Yep.
saying, they made these they made everyone think like, and we're thinking like we're exposing the Catholic Church for being evil, and really
Yeah.
we're helping pushing that
Pride.
narrative. We're helping to erase the importance and the significance of the real Catholic Church, right? That
Yep.
existed
Right.
before the little season began.
Yep.
Mind
And I don't know if
blown.
it was called the Catholic Church then.
Yeah. It was
They've
just the
made it,
church.
they've turned it into the Catholic Church.
And that's,
And,
yeah.
and
I
they
bet
didn't let
weren't.
anybody read the Bible. They didn't let, only the priest could read the Bible. And they were killing people, these Protestant guys, for trying to get the Bible out there. They faked all that history, made the Catholics look like the bad guys, and then destroyed all the hagiographies.
Yeah. And then just made Christians go to war with each other, nation against nation. And it's all like 99% of the time, these wars in the last 5 centuries, Christians are by far the highest casualty rate, both sides, civilian and military. But yeah, everything's inverted, right? The
Yeah.
Dark Ages is the age of light. The enlightening is the darkening. The Reformation is the deformation, right? It's like everything we've been told. Now, I do believe that some of the people during the Reformation were on the right side of this war, and they were martyred, right? Those ones were martyred. The ones that were going along with whatever the enemy's narrative, that he let them run. Because that's how, like, controlled op is controlled op. And the enemy's agents, that was one thing I wanted to mention too. A lot of people are like, oh, they're a shill, right? They're a shill, right? And like that first of all, like, shill is a very specific term, right? Because you don't even have to be a part of the club to be a shill. Because a shill is just someone who's really trying to get some sort of financial gain. You have various types of infiltrators. I worked for the government in multiple capacities, right? I know exactly how their tactics, and they have different types of infiltrators. They have ones that'll go in and they'll be right parallel with everything the group believes, right? And everything they do is perfectly lockstep with the group. But whenever a specific subject or a specific person or a specific topic comes around that they need that trust, they're going to take advantage of that trust that they've earned within the group, and they'll steer them on this one subject, but they'll still appear like they're in lockstep with the group. But nobody will really notice because they'll have already gained that trust. Then they have people that are going and just all they do is cause division, cause doubt, get people to backbite or gossip or betray trust, or just cause confusion. And so you have multiple types, and then you have teams, right? And you'll have your handler, you'll have the lead person, and then if that lead person, their trust is not enough to sway the group, they'll have 2 or 3 little minions in the group that'll back their plant, right? So there's different levels of infiltrators, there's different roles, and some of them are sleeper agents. They will sit there and they will be on page or on lockstep with everything you believe in the group. Never go against anything. Seem like they're perfectly on board, but in that moment later on, whenever that critical moment comes along, and I think that's what's going on with like Answers in Genesis, for example.
Yep.
I've been going hard on them, all their different guys, and Kent Hovind, the dinosaur guy. I've been going hard on them on X, in love. Because, if we can just get one of those big names to open up to biblical cosmology, if we can get one, right? Because that's where it starts, biblical cosmology. And then once someone realizes that they are able, the whole of humanity in the church it's capable for them to be deceived on that level for centuries, including great theologians, right? All these different respected church leaders and teachers and seminary founders and everything else. Once someone realizes that that's possible, it then opens their mind to start asking questions. So when they see a news person or a politician tell them something, instead of just believing it, right, they question it, and they'll open their eyes, and hopefully eventually it'll lead them to biblical eschatology, because that's what I'm calling the short season now. It's biblical cosmology, because it's from the scripture, right? Biblical eschatology takes the word exactly as it says. We don't have to twist it to fit timelines. We don't have to twist it to fit man's science or man's history or anything. We can just trust it. Even the parts that we haven't found the evidence for or we're not certain about, we've found enough evidence at this point. Now, I would love to just believe scripture and not have to question it, but my autistic intelligence doesn't allow me to just have peace. I have to find the answers to shut it up, right? To keep it up, to keep it quiet. And we have found enough evidence.
Test all things, prove all things. That's what you're doing.
We have found enough evidence, so.
Yeah, it's staring us right in the face with all these Capitol buildings, the millennial reign.